The internet has been compared to the Wild West because of nearly unlimited opportunities for both good and evil. While most all the major evildoers that are depicted in the James Bond movies will more than likely never try to hack your website, the ones you need to protect yourself against are the ones that would steal your grandmother's credit card information instead of taking their knowledge and creating an honest and long-term profit-pulling web presence. There are many things we can do to layer on the web security to help prevent the hackers from getting into our stuff. For example, passwords. Creating stronger passwords of at least 8 to 12 characters using numbers, upper and lower case letters, and throw in some special characters for good measure. Plus, you should use a different password for every location. So now if you have an uber strong password and you have multiple websites and you bank online and you have all of your email accounts and all of your social sites, this can be close to impossible to keep track of all these passwords if you didn't use a password manager. Password managers are programs that, among other things, manage all your passwords under one main password. Programs like Dashlane, RoboForm, KeePass, and LastPass. And there are many more that you can learn about by doing a search on Google. These password manager programs are a huge time saver like anything else that helps you stay organized, but these will also help keep your stuff safe. Typically, you have one master password that gets you into the vault area of the program where all of your other passwords are stored. Once properly stored, when you navigate to a site that requires your password, you click on a button and the login credentials are auto-entered and access is granted. Some of these programs are free or can run between $10 to $20 a year. Another security issue is malware prevention. Malware is a nasty bit of software that is designed to mess up your computer or mobile device, and in some cases allow the evildoer to take control of your computer or device. So if you have banking info or social security info or map to a lost city of gold on your computer and your computer gets infected by malware, then you stand to lose a great deal. There are a lot of great antivirus and anti-malware programs on the market, both free and not so free. Avast and AVG are a couple of the free ones worth checking into. And for the not so free, myself, I use Kaspersky, but Bitdefender is another one that many say is as good or better. The one thing you do not want to take advantage of is one of those scary pop-ups that say your computer is infected and you need to click here now to get it fixed. When that happens, just click on the X to get out of that pop-up or program, and do not click on the OK or the cancel button, just the X. Another security issue that is easily missed involves your emails. You get an email from what looks to be a company that you associate with, like your bank or PayPal, telling you to click on the link in the email to log into your account. They might say that your account has been limited or frozen, and the only way to resolve this problem is to log into your account now, and to make it easy for you, they include the link to your account in that email. Right about now, the siren should be going off in your head. On the off chance there might be an issue with your account, go to your web browser and log in from the website directly, and never, I repeat, never from the email link. You might even want to contact your bank or PayPal or whoever that bogus email was saying you had a problem with and let them know of the email, and they might give you an email address of their security department and have you forward it to them. And lastly, keep your computer and programs up to date. Most updates are created to patch security holes that have been found, so the longer that you go without updating things, the longer you are needlessly putting your stuff at risk. Now, while there is much more you can do to help protect you and your family online, these items will help keep your identity, data, and online activity secure. Thanks for watching, and you have a great and safe day. In this day and age, you need to remember a ton of passwords. You need a password to log onto your computer, your internet access, your websites, your email accounts, your YouTube account, and other member sites that you belong to. Some of these, like your online banking for example, holds more than just funny kitten videos, so you need a strong password as well as different passwords for each account that you have. This video will introduce you to a password manager called KeePass. KeePass is completely free, secure, and easy to use once you know how. A password manager like KeePass will allow you to securely store all of your passwords in one place, and all you need to do is remember just the one master password that gets you access to all those stored passwords. The stored passwords are encrypted using the best and most secure encryption algorithms currently known. So you can sleep soundly knowing all your goodies are safe. Oh, and did I mention KeePass is completely free? So head on over to KeePass.info And I suggest that you go ahead and bookmark this page because there's a ton of goodies here in addition to the download links. For example, you have the forums, which has a lot of information. You've got the help and the FAQs, as well as plugins, which just add additional functionality to the already awesome KeePass Password Manager. So let's head on over to the download links, and you see you've got two options here. Both are free, the Classic Edition and the Professional Edition. Now, the Professional Edition does offer more bells and whistles, but looking at the supported operating systems for both, it looks like if you're a Mac user, that your choices are a little bit more limited, because it does not look like the Classic Edition will work with the Mac or Linux. In which case, you just go with the Professional Edition. And then depending upon the option that you choose, just download either the installer or the zip file. And the installation process is very straightforward. And while you're at it, you may want to go ahead and visit the forum, the help, or the FAQ to gain more information on how to use the KeePass Password Manager. This will bring us to the end of this video on an introduction to the KeePass Password Manager. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. This video is going to walk you through the download and install of your KeePass Password Manager program. So let's head over to KeePass.info, and then over here on the left-hand column, go ahead and select the Downloads link, and that's going to bring us to the Downloads page where you can now choose the edition that you want to install and whether or not you want to use the portable version or the zip package or the installer. And if you're a Mac user, well, your choices are kind of limited. You have to go with the Professional Edition, at least at the time of this recording, and you have to install through Mono. To find out all the pros and cons of either edition, which might help you make your decision a little bit easier, come on down here to this link just below the boxes for the Classic or the Professional Editions, and click on Edition Comparison Table. And here we have the column for KeePass Classic. Anything that's titled KeePass 1.x, that's the Classic. And anything titled KeePass 2.x, that's the Professional. And over here on the left column, you have the features. And of course, if it's got the green check mark, that means that it's got it. If it's got the red X, that means it doesn't have it. And actually, there's a third version. We come on back here to the downloads and scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. If you're into this sort of thing, you also have access to the source code, because not only is KeePass a free password manager, it's also open source. But that's a bit above my pay grade, so I'm going to stick with the Classic or the Professional Edition. But just to show you what the portable looks like, let's go ahead and click on this, download the zip file, which will begin here shortly. Navigate to the location on your computer where you want to download the zip file to. Click on Save. And here's the zip file. Let's go ahead and open that up. Right click, Extract All, Extract, and take a look. Oh, and by the way, before you do any of this stuff, you should have an antivirus software on your computer where you would go through and just double check for viruses. And remember, this is the portable version here. At this point, we would just run the KeePass.exe file, and I would right click and run as administrator. Get the normal Windows installer warnings, and here we go. At this point, we would go ahead and create our database by going to File and then selecting New, or go to the new icon here. The thing about this, though, is that nothing was actually installed on our computer. So this is the portable version. Let's go ahead and come on back here, and I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And let's head on back to KeePass.info and download the installer. That's the .exe for Windows. Again, select the location where you want to download that to, and you can see this is the .exe, whereas the other one was the .zip. Go ahead and click on Save. Navigate to that location, right click, and left click on Administrator. Again, you get the Windows warnings. Click on Yes. Choose the language. If you recall, this option did not pop up with the portable version because this is actually being installed on the computer itself. And it does give me the warning here that, hey, you might want to close down everything else, but that would kind of hamper my video recording. Click on Next, Accept, click on Next. The default location for the install is fine. Click on Next. At this point, you want to make sure that since this is a free program, that whenever you're prompted to check or uncheck boxes, that none of these boxes that are by default already checked, you want to make sure that they're not third-party programs like some toolbar or some virus protection thingy, which none of these are. So all those are fine. Click on Next. Make your selection of the ones you want. At this point, that is a must, and create a desktop icon. Click on Next. Click on Next, and we're good. I'm going to go ahead and launch KeePass. Click on Finish. And this is the same deal that we got whenever we installed through the portable version. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on downloading and installing the KeePass Password Manager. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. KeePass is a free and open source password manager that, once you have it set up, will manage and protect as many passwords as you will ever have. All your passwords are protected inside of a database that you create on your computer. This video will show you how to create and secure that database so you can safely and easily store all your passwords there. First, you head over to KeePass.info, then come on down here to the Downloads link in the left column. Click on that and choose which package you want or need depending upon your operating system. Then download and install. Very straightforward stuff. Now, I've already downloaded and installed the Professional Edition using the installer.exe package. Let me go ahead and open it up, and this is what the interface looks like. And to create a database, you come on up here to File, and then choose New from the drop-down, or choose New from the toolbar here, or you can also use the keyboard shortcut, holding the Control key down on your keyboard and hitting the letter N as in new. And by default, the database extension is .kdbx, and you want to give it a name. Probably should be a little more descriptive than just new database, but for the sake of this demo, that's fine. And you also want to navigate to the location where you want to store all of your databases if you plan on having more than one. And for this demonstration, the documents library is just fine. Click on Save. Then this pops up asking you for a master password or master passphrase, and you can click on this box here to actually show the characters as you type them out. And as you type, the progression bar showing you the strength of your password gets increasingly greener, and it also gives you a number here showing you how strong it is. And you can choose again either a passphrase or a password. This is the only password you'll have to remember of all the passwords you're going to be storing in your database. There could be 10 or 10,000 passwords in your database, but to gain access to that database, you have to know this one master password. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this box here again where the three dots are, and it'll automatically populate that in the repeat password box below. Now, for an added layer of security, you can check this box here for key file. That way, in case somebody has access to your password for some odd reason, they will also need to know the location of the key file. Otherwise, this isn't going to do them any good at all. And to create the key file, once you check that box, you can see this option is available. Just go ahead and click on the Create button. Navigate to the location where you want to store the key and also give it a name. But for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to leave it as is. Click on Save, and at this point we're creating our key just by moving the mouse around all over the place in here, and you can see as the progression bar here gets bigger and bigger and greener, it's getting stronger and stronger, and you can just go on and on until it gets to the max of 256, or you can stop at any point because really this is just overkill in my book. But hey, you got the option, go ahead and make it as strong as possible, right? Or you can also go with typing random characters. Frankly, this would be impossible. This is just that much more ridiculously impossible. So at this point, we click on OK, and our key is created and stashed away safely right here. Click on OK here, and basically at this point, our database is created and assigned the master password. You also have these additional options here for your database settings, but that's the makings of a different video. At this point, I'm just going to click on OK, and here's our database. We're populated with a couple of different sample entries. You've got the various default groups. You can either go with these, you can add additional groups, you can even make subgroups. And that's the end of this video on creating and securing your KeePass database. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps of adding passwords or entries to the password manager called KeePass. KeePass is a free and open source program that once it is properly set up, will securely store on your computer as many passwords as you will ever have. First, you want to head over to KeePass.info, come over to the left column, click on Downloads, and download the package that you want or need depending upon your operating system. Then, after you install KeePass, you are going to create a database to store all of your passwords. Now, I've already installed KeePass and created a database. Let me go ahead and open that up. And once you create your database, this is what it's going to look like. You'll have a couple of sample entries in here that I would say leave them in there for the time being until you get the feel for how to add new entries, then delete them because they're just basically in the way. Over here in the left column, you've got what's called groups. You can also create additional groups and even subgroups. You can left click, hold, and drag these guys around if you want to add a subgroup of home banking to network, or left click, hold, and drag it back up here to new database and put it back where it was. And these sample entries, by the way, will give you a good feel for what the entries will look like in the various categories, like under title, this is what it looks like, under username, and so on. And down here at the bottom gives you a little bit of a breakdown of what all that stuff looks like as well. Once you select one of your entries, these guys up here are going to light up. This one here allows you to copy the username, this guy here, into your clipboard. This one, the password. This one will copy the URL into your clipboard. This one here will simply open up that URL in whatever browser you choose, or just clicking on that will open it up in your default browser. And you can see here you've also got these keyboard shortcuts that you can use as well. So let's go ahead and add an entry, and you do that by clicking this Add Entry key here, or you can right click in here and just click on Add Entry, and again you've got the keyboard shortcut here. Now you've got a bunch of stuff here you can do. I'm just going to keep it basic by adding a title, username, password, and URL. You can also add notes in here. This is ideal if you've got something that requires like a secret answer to a secret question or anything else you want related to that particular password. You can put all that stuff right in here. Down here, an added layer of security, which is very cool. You can check this box, add a future date and time to when this particular password that you add here will expire. You'll be prompted to add a new password, so very cool. Now, as soon as you click on Add Entry, it automatically populates a strong password. I don't need that because I'm going to go ahead and add a password for this guy right here. I've already got the password and username. I just want to add this login information to my database. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these guys out of here. This icon here, by the way, will show or hide the password as it says as I'm hovering over this. And this icon here is a password generator. Click on this. You can open up a password generator, and you can create the password based on the information you add here. On the number of characters, I would say a minimum of 12. Actually, 20 is ideal. So somewhere between 12 and 20, or as many as you want. You want 80 characters? You now have 80 characters. You want to add spaces as well as minuses and special characters? You got it. But just let it be known, though, that some places that require passwords have restrictions on the type of characters allowed for that password as well as number of characters. So just know that. Go ahead and cancel that out. Oh yeah, and you can also fancy things up here by selecting a different icon for different items. Click on that. Gives you a choice of a bunch of different icons you can choose from, and you can even add your own icons. Pretty cool, huh? So let's give this one a title, my demo site, username, password, and the login URL. I'm just going to copy and paste these guys in here. And this is the URL that I need. Click on Save. And again, you got these other items up here, but by default, we're doing just fine right now. Click on OK. And you can double click or right click or select from the icons up here to copy this into your clipboard. Copy the username, and when you do, you see down here in the status bar, you've got 12 seconds before that clipboard entry is cleared out. So don't dilly-dally. And double click, same thing, and log in. And that's how you can add a new entry. And if you wanted to move this into a different group, you can do so just by left click, holding and dragging it and putting it wherever you want. I'm going to add a group called Websites. And you want to put that in here under Internet. And put your websites in there. And you're good to go. Again, you can change icons, all kinds of cool stuff. And that is the end of this video on adding entries or passwords to your KeePass database. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. This video will introduce you to a piece of software that is both a password manager and a web form filler. This program is called RoboForm. RoboForm is a super secure password manager and a huge time saver. It's a time saver because after you've added the information to your RoboForm profile, you are one click away from entering a username and password, or even an entire page of information like some survey sites require. First thing you do is head on over to www.roboform.com, and as you can see, it works with most any device or operating system as well as most any browser. Now it's free for up to 10 logins. Then you need to decide which package to go with. Let's check out their comparison page to help you decide which route you want to go whenever you want to go pro. Come on up here to how it works. Then come on over here on the left and click on Product Comparison. And here right up top, you've got the free version, and I would suggest, just to kick the tires, see how things work for you, check this one out first. Gives you a little bit of a write-up on the features that it has. Then you've got the desktop version and the everywhere version. Now the desktop version is $29.95 for the first computer and $9.95 for each additional computer. You can see here that it does not come with online storage or syncing, but this is a one-time cost. Whereas with the Everywhere version, and this is the one that I use, it's an annual subscription. The first year payment is $9.95, and I'll show you here in a second how you can get that for even less. Then for each additional year, it's $20. But with the Everywhere version, it covers you for multiple computers and mobile devices, and it keeps them all in perfect synchronization. I use it on my PC to create and store passwords to new sites that I visit, and at the same time, that information is securely synced with my mobile device that also has my Everywhere RoboForm installed. And that's just the beginning. You can also securely store notes and contacts. I use the Safe Notes feature to securely store information I need to log into my wireless routers, the combination to my wall safe, and of course the longitude and latitude of where I buried the treasure. Now, I've been using RoboForm for many years and loving it. You should give it a try. And if you love it as much as I do, then you're going to see that this awesome tool saves you way more than it costs when you go to the Pro version, whether it's the single license desktop or the subscription for the Everywhere version. Now, like I had said earlier, let's go ahead and save you some money first. How you do that is you go to your favorite search engine, do a search for RoboForm coupon, and in Google, it's the very top one in the paid advertising in the yellow box here. And at the time of this recording, the title says RoboForm 60% off code. Go ahead and click on that link. And you can see that it takes you to the roboform.com page. And right here, instead of it being $9.95 for the first year, it's $7.95. So we're saving you a couple of bucks. And before you spend the $20 next year, do another search on your favorite search engine for RoboForm renewal fee coupon or something to that effect, and see if there's any available coupons at that time. And then at this point, just click on the Buy RoboForm Everywhere if that's the route you're going to go. Click on Add to Cart. Oh, and also you have this option too, RoboForm to Go. This is a one-off cost just like the desktop version. This one is $31.95, and this kind of gives you the same flexibility as the Everywhere version does, only without the yearly expense. But obviously this does have the limitations of the mobile devices, because unless your mobile device has a USB port, then you're not going to be able to sync that information to your mobile device. But it does have the flexibility of being able to go with you and putting it into any computer throughout the world, just like it says here. So that might be an option you might want to check into. But at this point, you go to Add to Cart and make sure that the coupon discount has transferred over at this point. Then you go to Checkout, or if you want to check out any of these other options here, then just add those to the cart as well. Then once you've downloaded the installation file, it's a very straightforward installation process. And if you need any help, you've got screencasts here, you got screenshots, loads of tutorials. And if you still need help, you've got their awesome support staff right here just waiting to answer your questions. That will bring us to the end of this video on an introduction to RoboForm. This video will show you the easy-to-follow steps to installing the powerful password manager and web form filler called RoboForm. First, you want to head on over to www.roboform.com. Then come on over here to the Downloads button and click on that. Choose a package that you want to download. So if you're a Mac user, then you want to use this one. And I'm going to be demonstrating this using the RoboForm for Windows version 7.9.2. Just click on the Download button. Navigate to the location where you want to download it to. Now I've already got it downloaded right here, so I don't have to go through the actual process of downloading it. It's not a big file, so it won't take very long. Once you do have it downloaded, you just double click on the file, or in my case, I'm going to right click and then run as administrator. Now, if during the process of installing you have any problems, then just go ahead and delete this, uninstall everything that you've already installed, go back to the website and download the program again. Chances are something happened during the download process that corrupted that file. Now, this rarely happens, but just in case it does happen to you, now you know how to get it fixed. Now, since I already have RoboForm installed, I'm going to go ahead and uninstall it real quick, just to kind of give you an idea on how simple that is as well. So you come on over to, I'm on Windows, so you come over to the Start button, and then go to Control Panel, and then you go to Uninstall a Program, and navigate to the RoboForm icon, which is right here. Click on that, and go to Uninstall. Now, if you want to totally clean it out of your system, then go ahead and make sure that box is ticked there, then click on OK. I'm not, so I'm just going through the demonstration here. So whenever I reinstall it, then all my passcards, identities, save notes, and everything else is going to be reinstalled in the new installation. And then click on OK. And this pops up telling me that RoboForm has been successfully uninstalled, and they just want to get a little bit of a survey or feedback as to why you uninstalled it. Not necessary in this case because I'm going to quickly reinstall it. But anyway, just to let you know, that is going to happen. So now let's go ahead and bring up that folder and right click, left click on Run as Administrator, or just double click on the icon, and then you get the Windows warning. Are you sure you want to install this? Click on Yes, choose your language, click on Next, and if I had Opera installed, then that box would not be grayed out. It would be tickable, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure that all these are ticked. Click on Next. Now, I'm not going to make the RoboForm start page my start page, but you can come back and do this later on. Click on Install. And this is just telling you that you've got these browsers open right now. You can just click on Install and it'll automatically close them, which I will, or go in and close them yourself and then come back and click on Install. Either way, you're ready to install. I have the Everywhere program. You can find out the differences between these two beyond what I just told you on the website by going to How It Works and then Product Comparison. But I'm going to go with the Everywhere version because this will work on my mobile devices, on as many different computers as I want, and it's just an awesome service. Now it asks for the master password, and you can click here for a virtual keyboard, or if you have the password on a text document and you want to avoid any potential keylogger type viruses that you might have on your computer, then just copy and paste. And if you have an existing Everywhere account, which I do, then fill in the blanks here, and this way it will automatically sync up with your Everywhere account. And all the passwords, safe notes, and bookmarks, and everything else that you have on your existing Everywhere account will automatically be synced up with this new installation. And this is what the RoboForm start page looks like. And this brings us to the end of the video on downloading, installing, and uninstalling the RoboForm Password Manager and Web Form Filler. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. RoboForm is a powerful password manager that can store and manage as many passwords as you will ever need. This video is going to take you on a brief tour of some of the major features and settings of your RoboForm program. Now, RoboForm works along with your browser to quickly and securely store your login credentials in what's called a passcard, so it might look a little different depending upon which browser you're using. Now, for example, right now I'm in the Firefox browser, and this is the Google Chrome browser. In the Google Chrome browser, you have the RoboForm icon up in the top right corner, which if you right-click on it, go to Options, you can show the lower RoboForm toolbar, which by the way is just below the video. If I pull this up, you can see right there, that's the lower RoboForm toolbar. And if I untick that box, it's going to go away just like that. And for any pop-up windows that show up, the RoboForm toolbar will show up on the pop-up windows and so on. And we'll cover the more options here in just a second. I want to go ahead and bring this guy back in. Now, in addition to these options, you also have the ability to access all of those features on the toolbar down here up here by simply left-clicking on the RoboForm icon in the top right corner. And you can either toggle this vertically or horizontally. And on the toolbar, whether it's in the Chrome browser or the Firefox browser or the Internet Explorer browser, you have access to the same information. It may just look a little bit different. Let's take a look at the same thing. Go ahead and close this out. Over on our Firefox browser. Now in Firefox, for any toolbars that you have installed, you can toggle them on or off depending upon your personal preference like coming up here to View, then hovering over the toolbar option, and then adding a check mark to the left of whatever item you want to show up as a toolbar. And for this example, RoboForm, tick that, and there's our RoboForm toolbar. As you can see, pretty much the same information pops up here as did on the Chrome browser toolbar. Now you can make adjustments to all of this stuff here over here on the RoboForm drop-down box. Just click on that. As you can see, a lot of the information in the horizontal setting here can also be accessed here, but you got a lot more options here. For example, you can add contacts, safe notes, create additional identities, even add bookmarks. Now, all of these items here are safeguarded behind your master password. So whatever you put in your safe notes here, no one can gain access to that unless they have access to your master password. Likewise to the contacts, identities, as well as the logins and bookmarks. Now, if we come on down here to help, any questions that you have about the program, you can find here. I mean, you've got access to a ton of information right here at your fingertips. Now, if we come over here to options, this is kind of the heart of your RoboForm setup. You can come in here and tweak just about anything. Some of the stuff you may never even encounter, but at least ways now you know where you can adjust it if you find the need. But under security, this is something that everybody should know about, because here's where you can add additional layers of security for your RoboForm access. Under automatic log off, you've got several options here. Now, I've set this ridiculously high because I'm the only one that has access to my computer. And I think by default, this is set to 120 minutes, a couple hours. So no matter what you're doing, you're working away here, every 2 hours, you're automatically going to be logged off of RoboForm. That was a little bit too much for me, so I bumped it up, quite a bit. So mine is never auto logged off. It's auto logged off whenever I turn off my computer. So I have to re-log in whenever I turn my computer back on. But you have these options here to play with. User data, autosave, autofill, toolbar, start page. Tons of information in here that you should definitely be aware of. And now that you know where to go to get that information and change it if need be, you can maximize the use of your RoboForm program. And again, that's under options. Let's go and cancel this out. And we come on back to our Chrome browser. And if we right click, go to options, click on more options, we come to the same spot. So there's a couple of ways you can get to your RoboForm options, but knowing how to get here, and especially under the security feature, it's a must. This is going to bring us to the end of this video on a tour of your RoboForm password manager. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. RoboForm is a powerful password manager that can store and manage as many passwords as you will ever need. This video will show you how to easily add login credentials to RoboForm for one of your online accounts. Now, after you've downloaded and installed the RoboForm program, you navigate to the online account that you want RoboForm to manage the future logins to, and just enter your username and password as you normally would. For example, I'm on the Chrome browser right now on one of my WordPress sites, and all I do is add my username and password, click on login as I normally would, and then RoboForm, which by the way on the Chrome browser has a little icon up here in the top right corner that you can use to access some of the features of RoboForm. But whenever you go to log in for the first time after RoboForm is installed, a box will pop up to auto save that. Now, I'm going to be demonstrating this in 2 different browsers just to show you that once the login credentials are saved on one browser, that if you have RoboForm installed on multiple browsers on your computer, that same login is instantaneously available on the other browser. And in this demo, I'm going to be using Chrome and Firefox. Now, Firefox displays the information a little bit differently. It has a toolbar up here at the top that you can access if you're familiar with Firefox by coming up here to View, then hover over Toolbars, and it will show you all the available toolbars, and those that are checked are those that are shown on your browser. For example, if it's unticked, then the RoboForm toolbar is not shown. Let's go ahead and tick this and show this, and I'm on the same site using the same URL on the Firefox browser as I am on the Chrome browser. Now in Chrome, not only do you have the little icon up here in the top right corner of your browser, but also you've got a toolbar just like I showed you on Firefox, only the toolbar on Chrome, if displayed, is displayed at the bottom of your browser. Let me pull this up here and show you because it's just out of the view of the video here. Right there it is. Let's go and get this back down here. And once you have the information saved within RoboForm, then as soon as you go to that particular website in the future, then RoboForm will display, instead of the word logins in parentheses, it'll display the name of that particular account. And as you can see right now, it is not in the RoboForm account on the Chrome browser or on the Firefox browser. So let's go ahead and log in on the Firefox browser and then click on Login. And right here is where you can change the name to whatever name you want. And currently it's going to be saved in the directory blogs, which I created myself, because by default you only have one directory, and that is called Home. Let me go ahead and X out of this, so I'm not going to save this in the Firefox browser. I just want to show you what it looks like in the Chrome browser, because it is a little bit different. And as you can see, since it was not saved, the logins is still empty here. Let's head on over to the Chrome browser and save it there. Click on Login. And this is what pops up for the Chrome browser. Same information, just looks a little differently. But the key thing is, though, is that you want to make sure that it is password protected. Make sure that box is ticked. And just like on the Firefox browser, you've got the directory here, blogs, or any other directory that you want to save this in, if you want to save it in any of them. Otherwise, it's going to automatically be saved in the home directory, which is the default directory. Now, you can change these after you've saved it by just left click, hold, and drag that information, be it the directory or the information in the directory, to wherever you want. Click on Save. Now then, if we come on up here to the RoboForm icon, you can see that the name that was given, and you can change this at any time, is now showing instead of logins. And whenever you come to this site the next time, all you have to do is click on this icon for RoboForm. This will pop down. The name of the site will show here. And you've got three options. You can either fill the form, you can fill it and submit it, or you can edit it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me just go ahead and delete this, come on back up here and click on the RoboForm icon. Hover over this, fill the form, but it's not logging in. You now have to click on this link. Or if we just click on this, then it will automatically fill the form and submit it, just the same as this button here. Fill and submit. And we're automatically logged in. Now let's see over here on the Firefox browser. Now we're already logged in because I didn't log out from the prior test, but it is automatically saved in the Firefox browser from it having been saved in the Chrome browser. So it's instantaneous. Now you can manually add this information too, but this is just so much easier. Another way that you can add login credentials is by importing passwords and bookmarks from other password managers, like, for example, LastPass or KeePass, just to name a couple. Now to do that, you come on up here, again, this is the Firefox browser. Come on up here to the RoboForm link, hit that drop-down arrow, come on down here to Tools, and go to Import. Just left-click on that, and choose the item that you want to import, whether it's bookmarks, or, for example, LastPass or KeePass passwords. And this brings us to the end of this video on adding logins to your RoboForm password manager. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. RoboForm is a powerful and secure password manager and web form filler. This video is going to walk you through the Identities feature, which can be used to quickly fill out long registration and checkout forms in one click of your mouse button. Now, after you've downloaded and installed RoboForm, head on over to the RoboForm button here in your RoboForm toolbar, and it might be in a different location depending upon the browser you're using, but right now I'm in the Firefox browser, and it's the top left button in the RoboForm toolbar. You click on that, and you come on over here to Identities, and you can go to New or Edit an existing one. Or you can come on down here to Editor, click on that, and that exposes everything within your RoboForm program. And the Identities tab is the one I'm going to be talking about in this video. To create a new identity, you click on the plus icon here, give it a name, choose the country, and if you want to have that particular identity created in a different directory other than the home directory, then just come on over here and create a new one by clicking on this icon, or select one that you may already have. For example, if you're creating multiple identities to make a couple extra bucks by filling out information on paid survey sites, then you might decide to create a directory called Survey Sites, where you would keep all of your login credentials for those survey sites, as well as all the identities that you're going to be using for those survey sites. Just an idea. But I would definitely make sure that all the information on all of my identities were protected behind my master password by checking that box there next to password protect. Now I've already created a couple of identities here, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. So once you have your directory named, then you have all of these available tabs that you just simply go through and fill in the information. A lot of it is pretty self-explanatory. Now whenever I select this particular identity and the information that I've already filled out, it's shown here in the overview section. And you can see here that under the person tab, this is the basic information that I have under that section here. Likewise under the business tab. Now since I do not have anything under the passport tab, it's not represented in the overview page. So of the items already filled out, you can edit that from the overview page by clicking on the pencil icon here to the right. Now if one of the forms that you are filling out on the web happens to have a field that is not covered by any of these tabs, that's where the custom tab comes in handy. More on that in just a minute. But basically between the custom tab and all of these default tabs, any form that can be thrown at you, RoboForm can fill those fields with just 1 to 2 clicks of your mouse button. Oh, and if you happen to be a software or application designer and you submit your software or applications to multiple directories, RoboForm's got something for you as well. Select the identity that you want to add your application information to. Come on up here to the More tab on the right column, because you've got another one over here. Come on up here to the More tab on the right column. Come over to Advanced and click on the App Upload. That adds an app tab to your identity. And you just simply fill in all the appropriate fields here, so the next time that you go to one of your software directories to submit your program to that particular directory, instead of spending minutes and minutes filling out each one of those fields, you're one mouse click away from filling in that entire form. Boom. And don't forget you've got the custom tab here to cover any fields that are asked on that form that are not answered with this particular form here. And if you wanted to replicate this particular identity, but maybe make a couple of minor changes, here's a quick way you can do that. Instead of going through creating a new identity and then going in and filling in all these blanks again, you simply select that ID that you want to clone, then come on up here to the More tab on the left column, click on Clone, give it a new name, and now you have an exact replica of this particular identity, where now you can just go in and make some minor changes. Maybe you want to change the business name, the email address, the phone number. You just go right to it. And whatever changes you make, be sure to click on the save icon up here to apply those changes. Otherwise, they won't take. Now, if you do any online banking or online purchases, then you might want to go ahead and have your credit card information in here as well. But what if you've got multiple credit cards? You only have the one tab. No problem, we got you covered. Right now, I've only got my Discover card information in here. But let's say I want to add my Visa and my American Express card in here as well. Select that tab, come on up here to New Credit Card, select that, click on New, give it a name, click on OK, and now we've got an additional instance under that particular tab. Same thing holds true with bank accounts, address, passport, business, and so on. Now, one thing to be aware of when you do add credit card or banking information or any additional sensitive information like your social security number, for example, you want to be careful in how you submit this info to these different forms. Let's head on over to RoboForm and check out some of their test sample forms, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Go to roboform.com, go to How It Works, go to Tutorials, then go here under Identities, click on Tutorial. And this gives you some additional information too that may cover some things that I didn't cover in this particular video. But down here at the bottom is the sample form filler. That's the basic one. You've got one that represents online shopping, another one that represents all the fields, and this one represents the custom fields. And you can click on this link here to go to a tutorial that will answer all of your questions on how to create these custom fields. For example, marital status or ethnicity. These questions are not addressed in any of these other tabs. That's where a custom tab would come in handy. You can create the field name here. It has to be exactly the same as it is in the actual form. And the field value would be one of the answers you want represented by this particular identity, but it has to be exactly the same as one of the field values on the form. But things like other match strings and such can be better answered for you here under the Custom Fields tutorial. So be sure and check that out when you get a chance. Let's go ahead and give this form a test. Let's go to All Fields, Test Form. But this is how you want to do this securely and safely. Come on up here and hover over the identity name. Do not click on the identity name and do not click on Fill and Submit. Instead, you want to click on Fill Form. Oh, here we go. We've got a warning message that sensitive fields are going to be filled. And it tells you here that a social security number is going to be added. So go ahead and click on OK. But since we did not click on the ID name or the fill and submit, we just clicked on fill forms. It gives us the opportunity to go in and delete that information before it is actually submitted. So again, do not click on the ID name or fill and submit. Click on fill forms. Now here's something else too. Let's say I wanted to fill in the empty fields. In other words, in this case, Clark Kent's name is not going to be on this form. The Joe Tester stuff's going to be in here. But all the other details under the Clark Kent identity will be filled into the blank spots, only if that box is ticked. Fill forms. Again, we get the sensitive field pop up. This time it's the credit card number is going to be added. You see, the name was not changed, only the empty fields were filled in. And a couple of examples of these survey pages that I had mentioned earlier. One would be Inbox Dollars. Another would be CashCrate.com. Now, these are just two of the zillion different paid survey pages out there. Each have their own pros and cons. If you're not familiar with using a paid survey site, spend a little bit of time doing some research before diving into this potentially money-making opportunity using the RoboForm Identities feature. But that's going to bring us to the end of this video on using the Identities feature in RoboForm. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.